to some X guard entries. So K guard is a good transition. Like last week we looked at it from closed guard and we just transition while they're on the mat. So I'll do a brief review of that. So you guys feel free to drill that stuff again if you want. But I'm gonna show another leg entry and then an entry to the X guard position from the K guard when they stand tonight. So it's also super helpful. But quick review of this past week. So whenever I'm entering the K guard, I'm looking for this deep underhook, and then I'm framing and transitioning with my knee to the inside of their thigh, right? This is the K guard position. My supporting leg is framing and hooking off the outside. And from here, I can create these dilemmas where I can try to attack triangles and arm locks. So last week we went over the leg entry arm lock dilemma. So it kind of puts them in a predicament where if they try to bear down into me, then I capture the arm and pivot my hips for the arm bar. Okay, I'm not gonna get into too many technical details on this since it's review, but I'm looking for the shotgun grip on the back of the tricep. If I feel like they're bearing their weight into me, then I'm transitioning and pivoting my hips, clearing my leg around and over the head, clamping nice and tight, and then I can come off for the underhook, secure a 2-on-1 for the arm bar, and look for a finish from here, okay? If they rip the arm bar out, right, I just transition and pivot to the triangle, okay? So the second portion of this was like when I'm looking for the arm bar off the K guard position, a lot of times they're gonna posture, right? So he's gonna pull his arm out, right? This makes him super light on his leg. So I can extend, load the leg, and then last week, remember we went over this backside 50-50 entry or the leg entanglement here. So as I load the leg to my shoulder here, collecting the grip on the back of the knee, I'm turning my hips over. I use this foot to frame off the thigh, scoot away to make space to weave my leg through. Once I weave my leg through to the far hip, tucking this, scraping with the elbow, closing and sealing, gable grip, and then from here, nice and easy with your partner, bridging the hips in and looking to rotate through for the finish on the heel hook. All right, so that was last week's K guard. Arm bar, heel hook dilemma. So this week, if you want to keep working that stuff, feel free. This week we're going to look at from when they stand. So common thing with like no-gi is I don't find that plank trying to play closed guard and no-gi is maybe like the most useful guard because it's really hard to control posture no-gi in this position when you don't have grips, right? I can try to like break their posture down and do certain things to control them, like maybe like a higher guard, rubber guard scenario. But inevitably, if a person's like half decent in jiu-jitsu, they're gonna get some type of posture. And most of the time, they're gonna try to stand and pass your guard. So I get put in this predicament now where I'm like hanging with them in my closed guard. And I have to make a decision. I can either try to exhaust my energy, trying to return them to the mat here and hang in closed guard, or I can just accept the fact that they're have gotten most of the way towards opening my closed guard, and they're probably going to open my closed guard here. So with the knowledge that they're probably going to open my closed guard if they get to their feet, what I want to look to do is just transition to the K guard like proactively as a stand. So same thing, I'm collecting an underhook, I'm unlocking my guard, I'm letting my hips fall down, right? And I'm creating the same framing scenarios where I'm hooking with this far leg, hooking on the hip here, and looking to load and get underneath the legs. From here, this is a very easy transition into X guard because I already have one hook in place by the nature of dropping my knee inside, right? So I'm gonna keep a high elbow. I like to use this hand for support so he can't back step out of this grip here. And then I'm just gonna transition and pivot my leg to the inside, right? So I'm hooking behind the knee on the far side. Once I get this in place, I'll drop all the way into like true X guard. So my hook comes from the near side hip to his far side hip. And from here, I'm just gonna take out the trash. So if he stands, continues to stand, I'm gonna extend, kick him away, sit up to the elbow, and from here I'm gonna wrestle up. All right, so I'm building up the knee, coming up, coming up, coming up, and then however the scramble dictates the finish from here is how I'm gonna, finish the technique from here. There's no right or wrong answer. It's gonna be, does he concede this week and sit to the mat? Does he try to stay standing like this, right? So partners, you can give your buddy a different look on their sweep after they get to X guard. If they stay down, like if I go to X guard here, Pete stands, I transition AK into the X guard from here, and he kind of drops his weight onto me to try to smush my guard and base out, then I'm just gonna look for like basic dump sweeps here, right? So I can go to the backside, try to take away an extra post if I can. So collecting an arm, holding a wrist, something to take away his ability to post, and then dump him onto his hip, either forward or backwards, right? Backwards, the most likely scenario in X guard from here, because if he comes back up, if I try to go forward, it's gonna be hard to control this arm. It's not to say I can't do it, but he's gonna pull this arm out and be able to post. And even if I have this arm captured, he could still post with this hand, right? So, I don't wanna get too far down the rabbit hole of transitions from here, but all the other X guard things that, you know, we've drilled in the past, you can transition to from here, obviously. I've gone from K guard into X guard. So anything you know from X guard from here is like viable, right? Okay. Any questions?
Not yet.
Right on cue.
She's so
All right, let's practice these positions for a little bit, and then we'll get into the positional spars. 1, 2, 3.